DJ Akademiks is scared. Real scared. What up, words your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Charles, you're about to tell us that DJ Akademiks is scared because of Cameron and Mace, of what they're going to say and or do. And I can get into that. You're going to say, Charles, DJ Akademiks is scared about what black women are going to say and do about his comments to Lauren LaRosa. And I can get into all that. But I'm going to get into something deeper with a much more level of substance in regards to DJ Akademiks, because all of this is smoke and mirrors. What you got to understand is that DJ Akademiks is scared that he's about to be irrelevant. DJ Akademiks is throwing a bunch of distractions out into the zeitgeist because he is afraid that he may be washed up and it may not be as far away as you think. So I want to talk about this because what you got to understand when you peel back all the layers, when people keep saying, how did we let DJ Ak in the culture? How did he get into the culture? Why do we accept him in the culture? DJ Ak is not in the culture. DJ Ak is a streamer. You got to understand, for most people, especially in the culture of hip hop, we don't understand the difference between a media personality in hip hop and a streamer. Akademiks is a streamer. Streamers play on a different level than you. They stream their content on other apps, gaming apps and things of that nature. That is a completely different culture from hip hop, and Ak is playing that culture. He's not playing the hip hop culture. He talks about hip hop. He to a degree. He talks about popular entities in hip hop to a degree. His hip hop takes are usually awful, wrong, and on the wrong side of hip hop. That's why he's always in the crosshairs of people who are in hip hop. But let's be clear, Akademiks is not a hip hop personality by any stretch. He has zero connections in hip hop. Name one rapper who will go to bat for Akademiks. Not even one. There is no hip hopper that's like, yeah, that's my man, besides Tekashi 6ix9ine. That is the only rapper who came to the defense for years that will run up and defend Ak against any and all and hang out with him and be cool with him. Drake doesn't do it. No one does it. And most of the rappers can't stand him. Lil Baby and now Cameron and Mace. Most of these guys are going to have an issue with Akademiks because Akademiks does things for streaming views, not for hip-hop views. There is no money in real hip-hop for a person like Akademiks. That's why he's always talking negative, calling the elders dusty and bums and things like that, because Ak knows he's not playing the same game. That's why he's doing this shock jock stuff, this stuff that only streamers, if you know what a streamer is, Kai Sanat and Neon and these different guys, I don't watch streamers. So I only know from streamers because it's my job to know the difference. Akademiks is losing to these guys. These guys are out streaming Akademiks. I'm just going to be honest. They're bigger than him. Akademiks has a huge market because he plays both sides, but in the real world, Akademiks is not a hip-hop personality per se. He is not one of us. No one accepts him. No one calls Akademiks to get his opinion on hip-hop. No one goes and sits down. No hip-hoppers. Akademiks will get semi-gangbang rappers, drill rappers. He's not getting hip-hop heads, let's just be honest. And he don't even want them because they're not going to do well in the streaming world. Akademiks is scared because Akademiks knows that his time is up. What it is he's a shock value jock. Akademiks, I akin him to a Rush Limbaugh. For those that don't know who Rush Limbaugh is, he was a fat, white, very, very right-wing commentator, very racist, very shock jockey, loud, obnoxious, but he had zero talent. His only talent was being a jerk. Right? His only talent was being boisterous and being very, very just arrogant, ignorant. And that's exactly what we have with Akademiks. Akademiks knows a lot of the things that are coming up with his name on them are looking bad. Like this thing with this 15-year-old streamer, another streamer. He plays in the world of streamers, right? The guy in the zeitgeist of streamers with Plaque Boy Mac and these different guys, right? So what's the kid's name? The kid that he freaking had an issue with. Let me pull it up because I just want to be accurate when I talk about these things, right? But Akademiks had issues with he got in real trouble, Nord XD or something, right? But he was on Black Boy Mac's stream, apparently not his stream, but some kind of chat room with his crew, his boys, right? These other guys that don't have really nothing in hip hop. These guys are just, they're pariahs in this thing. He knows that, but he's not trying to really be in hip hop. That's why he doesn't care what you think in regards to hip hop. Streamers comment on everything, right? Streamers comment on everything. Everything in the zeitgeist, they're going to comment on it. So Act knows that, okay, if I comment on stuff in a way where it's loud and boisterous and I get these numbers up, that's all that matters. Look at Kai Cenat, how much nonsense he gets into, how much criticism he gets into. And guess what? Guy doing $1 million a day, some shit, crazy shit, because he doesn't care what you think. He's not playing in your world of fair and unfair and cool and not cool. And you're being mean. They are paid to be mean, right? They are paid to be assholes. Look at Drewski. He gets paid to talk shit to a 14-year-old kid. He gets paid to do shit, right? So he's not in this. You keep saying stop putting him in the culture. He's not. He's only in the culture because he speaks of the culture, but the culture doesn't. There's nowhere in the world where the culture is going to accept and acknowledge Akademiks when all the smoke clears. He's not going to be looked at as someone who broke through the culture. Sway from Sway in the Morning, he's going to be looked at in the culture. It's two different things. They're not doing the same thing. Akademiks is only having guys that are damn near criminals on his platform. He's not having rappers, straight up real rappers. He has a whole thing with rappers. He just called Kendrick's whole fan base broke and no lineup and all this and that and the third. So he's not trying to be in your world. But the reason I say he's scared and he's lashing out with this whole thing with Cam and Mace and Lauren and Treasure Wilson and all these things like that, because Akademiks knows that if it ever goes quiet for him, he's done. He has no talent in this world. So lashing out at Lauren LaRosa from behind his computer screen, from behind his going live, waiting on something to get into, this is how he stays relevant. That's what a streamer's job is, to stay relevant. If you really peel back the layers, Ak is scared as hell. He has no one. His biggest interview right now is Kanye West. Kanye West is a disaster. Kanye West is disgusting. Akademiks' whole lineup of interviews that he's going to get, for the most part, are going to be industry outcasts, pariahs, disgusting people like Kanye West. Or people who have admittedly been pushed out of the game like a Tekashi 6ix9ine. Right? And he's going to get the occasional Lil Durk and this and that. But most of the people I'm going to name that he can get, these are people going into prison, already in prison, or on their way out of prison. So he's not interviewing hip hoppers per se. I'm just going to be honest. This is just a fact. He's going to review these people. That's going to be very controversial. That's going to get him a bunch of views and a bunch of quick clicks. He's not doing anything to advance the music. Absolutely nothing. He's not doing anything to advance hip hop. He's advancing people who have already stamped themselves and made their way in rap that could care less about hip hop. I don't know how many hip hoppers you know are out putting hits on their ops. I don't know any of them. I'm just going to be honest. And almost everybody that Ak is going to sit down with, they either hit their op, about to get their op, or got ops looking for them. And that's who he wants to interview. Okay? So this is not about Ak being in the culture. The reason Ak has 2 million, 3 million subs, because a lot of them are kids from Idaho, white kids that have nothing to do with this, black kids that have nothing to do with this, people from all walks of life that don't care about no hip hop conversation. They don't want to know nothing about nothing. They want to get the newest update about Drake. They want to get the newest update about Kendrick, but the negative update about Kendrick, it doesn't make any sense, but this is what they want. And we all want to be informed. We all want to get that, yeah, what's happening with this? What's the newest, da-da-da. But when it's slanted and it's all for shock and awe, it's not even, you're not doing journalism anymore. You're not media anymore, right? The word media has transformed into who can do the most goofy stuff and get more people to go to their platform. We got people, and I'm going to use the name again, Kai Cenat and these different guys, they are considered media. Right? Kai Cenat went and made a whole stream that he was from a jail. He was in a jail. And everybody had on jail suits, jail jumpsuits. And that was for like a week or something where he streamed. And these kids loved it, right? They loved it. He's in jail, da-da-da. Yo, he's streaming from jail and all these people coming. None of these people are in jail, but they all got on jail things, right? Jail uniforms, right? People loved it. They loved the whole, the pageantry, the theater of it. And this is what a person like Akademiks, he loves stuff like this. People want to say, why Drake don't talk to hip-hop media? Because he doesn't need to. Most of the people that Drake is going to reach are going to be watching streamers. That's why he's streaming with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is a bigger streamer than Akademiks at this point in time. So why would he go stream with Akademiks when he got a bigger streamer? Because the people he's really trying to meet, he's trying to reach, are not hip-hop heads. That's why when you see hip-hop heads all in the comments defending Drake, you sound stupid. You're not his audience. You're not the people he's trying to contact with when he gets on these platforms. You're not. He's trying to reach that white kid out there that's going to spend some money on some merch and some other shit, follow him and go on stake and gamble. And whoever that may be, that's who he's trying to reach. So when you look at Akademiks and why I say he's scared, because without these wild ass rants, because you really know if you pay attention to Akademiks when he's not in a full-on rant talking about, I'm big act, da da da. This guy is as soft and as meek and as well spoken as you could possibly get. So when he gets into these big bone attitudes and da da da, bitch, you don't know me, da da da, I'm big act, you're a peon. All of that is for more streams. This guy has nothing against these women. He truly don't like women. He hates women. Let's just be honest. But Akademiks, at the end of the day, is a meek, scared guy that got here by doing what he does, absolutely cluelessly, right? Unabashed, and just unashamed about how he got here. I want to talk about this because I pulled up Akademiks Wikipedia. I want to talk about this because you got to understand what you're dealing with. This guy doesn't. This hip-hop thing, he didn't even get to America till 2001. We already had, that's the year Jay-Z and Nas battled. You just getting here? You just getting here? That's why his opinion is skewed and he doesn't understand this culture. By then, we was full on in complete label domination by then. By 2001, this thing was about 106 in Park and who could get on the Freestyle Fridays. This thing was already, they took everything from hip hop and formulated. They made a formula out of it and 1, 2, 3 this thing. And it became ABC's 1, 2, 3s. Everybody getting signed had a formula. Every record coming out was for a certain market. They were paying off radio programmers and people that DJ'd on the radio. They already had, it was a machine by then. By the time he got here, he didn't even have, he could only understand how much it sold and who had the #1 record. By then, he was already, it's too late to become a hip hopper in 2001. I'm just going to be honest. And Akademiks got here from another land. All he's thinking about is numbers and money and how he can get paid. So that's why he thinks when he talks about people, they're broke. Kendrick fans are broke. Yeah, this one's broke. That's all he can see is the money. All he can see is the dollars because by then, that's all that people cared about. Okay? A lot of our favorite rappers back then were talking about getting bags of money, right? Outside of the cocaine they was dealing, right? So end of the day, Ak walked into that. He walked into that from a poor country. Let me read this to you. Livingston Island, born May 17, 1991. And this no disrespect to the young kids because a young kid can still go out and learn about hip-hop. You can still be a hip-hop head, if you born in 1991. Listen, I know a lot of hip-hop related guys that really can spit that's born after Akademiks. That's younger than Akademiks. But Akademiks wasn't into the culture. He's not into the culture. He's into the flash and the sparkle of it. And if you aren't sparkling and flashing, that's why he had all these issues when these rappers fell off, he wouldn't help them no more. Like P&B Rock and these different guys, right? He don't want to help them no more. When they going up, that's when he want to talk to you, right? And when they going down, he don't really got nothing else to say to you. That's the kind of thing Ak is. But let me continue. Akademiks, better known as DJ Akademiks or simply Akademiks, or his stage name Lil Axe, is a Jamaican American podcaster, internet personality, and live streamer, right? They didn't say nothing about hip hop in this thing. This is usually these Wikipedias are approved by the person they're about. So Akademiks approved this. It doesn't say nothing about hip hop, right? Let me keep this moving. DJ Akademiks rose to fame for his YouTube channel, which covered recent news in the music industry, particularly hip hop. That's what he did. He talked about a lot of urban stuff, but let me continue. He later became the co-host of Everyday Struggle, a daily show by Complex Networks. He also owns his own podcast, Off the Record with DJ Akademiks, on Spotify. Now, let's talk about Everyday Struggle. Akademiks was getting streamed on every single day by Joe Budden for saying something dumb that the culture didn't agree with. He only, a few things he would get right here and there, but for the most part, Akademiks was on that side of the young, boisterous, we don't care about y'all old niggas, da-da-da, y'all Timberland boot wearing New York motherfuckers, we don't give a fuck about that. This is what Akademiks stand on. He stood on Lil Yachty. He stood on Lil Uzi Vert. He was SoundCloud. He didn't care about nothing that you had going on. And that's cool for young people. But for the whole culture, that SoundCloud movement was kind of like, what's going on? That's why J. Cole wrote the song that he ended up turning his back. But J. Cole wrote the little SoundCloud niggas, da-da-da. That's what J. Cole's talking about. Because the culture was kind of like, this is weird, but SoundCloud, those rappers persevered regardless, with the help of people like Akademiks. I honestly believe that SoundCloud era, without Akademiks and a few other bloggers, that SoundCloud era would have came and went. A lot of them guys would have been here today, gone tomorrow. But it was people like Akademiks that pushed that music to get wherever it is. I'm just going to be honest. Him, Adam 22, and a couple other people pushed the SoundCloud movement for better or for worse, right? Some good music did come out of that, and some of it didn't, right? OG Mako and people like that, ask them how long that lasted, right? But at the end of the day, let me just keep it. Rest in peace to OJ Mako. But let me keep this moving. DJ Akademiks was born in Spanish Town, Jamaica, and has one biological brother. His father was a school principal and stated to have many extramarital affairs due to his affluent status in the Jamaican community. This is where Ak gets his disrespect for women. I'm just going to be honest. DJ Akademiks did not appreciate his father's character of being away from his family, engaging in extramarital affairs, and eventually starting another family, but he claims to have understood and forgiven him as he grew older because he started to do the same thing. That's why I'm just going to be honest, and I don't know this dude from Holding the Wall, but from how he talks, I'm not thinking that he's wifed up with one woman right now. I'm just going to be honest. DJ Akademiks mainly grew up under the care of his mother and his grandmother. Akademiks' mother left him and his brother Jack in Jamaica and migrated to the United States, where she worked many jobs, lived in subpar conditions, and eventually paid an American man $20,000 to marry her so she could become legal in the U.S. as a citizen. In 2001, DJ Akademiks and his brother were invited over to the U.S. by their mother. And you ask yourself, why does this guy hate women so bad when his mom worked so hard to get him here? She did all kind of things. She probably scrubbed floors and did all kind of things. Paid some dude 20 grand. She probably still paying him, you know what I'm saying, for years paying this guy. And Akademiks treats women with such contempt and disdain, especially black women. Let me keep this moving. DJ Akademiks has a bachelor's degree in biomathematics from Rutgers University, the New Brunswick campus. They had to do that. He was a disc jockey for Rutgers University radio station WRSU-FM until 2013 when he was kicked out for his commentary and selection of music. He probably started playing a bunch of this drill shit, and they was like, get this shit out of here. I'm just going to be honest. This is an assumption. This is just my opinion, but I'm almost certain that I'm right. He probably started talking wild and crazy and playing a bunch of bullshit. Let me keep this moving. Early career. Akademiks was a regular on online hip-hop forums. He's a fan. First and foremost. His first YouTube channel was called DJ Akademiks, created on October 2012, initially highlighting his university disc jockey sessions, interviews, and hip-hop rap opinions. Over time, he began posting the latest breaking news in the hip-hop rap genre. During this time, he reported, and let's just be honest, at that time, hip-hop was all over the place. So he could have been posting nonsense. Let's just be honest. I'm not taking nothing from him. He was posting it, but from my opinion, when I first introduced to Akademiks, very long time ago, and it just and just to be honest, it wasn't necessarily the war in Chirac, which is what it is, but I was watching Ak for when he was doing those little videos where he wouldn't show his face and he was talking about different things going on in the hip hop system, right? But it was always satire where he was always putting a spin on it. And he was kind of clowning these guys a lot of times, and he was kind of condescending a lot of times, and that's what we wanted to see. And a lot of times he was covering stuff that nobody would cover. He single-handedly put people like Tekashi 6ix9ine and Triple X and these different guys, he put them in the zeitgeist, and he kept Drake there because he kept covering Drake too. Let's just be honest. A lot of people don't give Akademiks enough credit for putting Drake in the minds of these younger people. Akademiks was for Gen Zers and people like that. He wasn't for older guys. We watched it too because it wasn't many people doing it the way he was doing it. But at the same time, Akademiks was more so putting a young person spin on it. He really didn't have a lot of respect. He would say, "Oh, I like Jay-Z, da da da," but it was like, yeah, he's cool, but Lil Yachty. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, yeah, these elders is not. No, it was like, yeah, these elders was cool, right? They was okay, but yeah, this little dude, Lil Uzi Vert, these guys is popping, right? So it wasn't what you think it was. It's hip hop by default. So let me keep this moving. During this time, he operated a website called Late Night Creep, which centered around hip hop, rap news, but it's currently not operational. In May 2014, Akademiks created a YouTube channel titled Crime Fails, which he highlighted the mishaps committed by criminals during and after their criminal DC. This is a guy trying to see what sticks. He's doing anything to see what's going to happen. It's like, if that's going to stick, fine. If the war in Chirac's going to stick, fine. If hip-hop talking shit going to stick, fine. This is like whatever. Throw a bunch of shit at the wall. Let's see what happens. And a bunch of shit happened. Let me keep this moving. In June 2014, DJ Akademiks created a YouTube channel titled The War in Chirac, which mainly centered around the coverage of various drill artists and updates on the underlying gang conflicts in Chicago, giving drill music's lyrics context, basically breaking down drill raps. How much context is that going to really be? Let's just be honest. The channel played a substantial role in rendering the early Chicago drill music scene accessible to a wider audience. He pushed the drill music into the world. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of these guys have their careers because of him. They have a love-hate relationship. Vic Mensa wanna go. Vince Mensa, he wanna go and slap him and this and that and the third. But you're really pretty much on that show. Your name is where it is because this guy took that stuff and made it mainstream. I'm just going to be honest. When I used to watch the War in Chirac, I didn't know not one of these people he was talking about, right? Reese and all these guys, all these different names he's throwing at you, all these names. This guy, that guy, the Grim Reaper of Chicago. He put these guys in the zeitgeist and he made these guys who they are today. He used to idolize Chief Keef and these guys, I didn't know who these people were, just going to be honest. And a lot of people didn't either. So he's to, you could either say thank or blame for the drill music craze becoming what it is. Wasn't nobody covering like this guy. Yes, they had guys in certain local areas that would come and interview, people in Chicago interviewing Chicago people. That really pretty much stayed in Chicago. I'm just gonna be honest. It had a small market, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't nothing like this. Let me keep this moving. In February 2000, let me finish. The channel played a substantial role in early Chicago drill music scene, accessible to a wide audience. It had 250,000 subscribers and 94 million views in the first 2 years. That's the War in Chirac. 94 million views. And I know you guys like to blame Akademiks, but you niggas is subscribers to that channel and you watch them shows just like everybody else. And everybody blames him, but they watched it. You watched it. You subscribed. You hit like. You in the comments. That made it get even bigger. 250 million subscribers, that's a lot of people. It's hard to get that, gang. Somebody wanted to see that. That's the problem with what we got going on in this culture. This is why Akademiks is allowed to thrive and act like he wants and says, I'm big act, you ain't nothing but a peon. Because you guys, and me included, have went and patronized this stuff that he puts. So he gets to act like an asshole to Lauren LaRosa and call her a bitch, call Jess Hilarious a bitch, and call everybody else soft and da-da-da, and bring up that Cameron. Allegedly, Mace had sex with a tranny, and Cameron got beat up and shot and da-da-da, got punched in the face by True Life. He can say all this stuff because it's going to get him more clicks, and he has enough people watching the streams and following him on Twitter that he can say this stuff, and it doesn't matter because all it does is gets absorbed by us, and we just keep it pushing. Let me keep on moving. In February 2015, Akademiks created a YouTube channel called King Akademiks, where he solely posted highlight clips from his latest Twitch live streams and began live streaming on that channel in 2020. This is a streamer. Akademiks gets his money from streaming. He's not hip-hop media. He's a streamer who talks about hip-hop sometimes. This is just like Kai Cenat being called a hip-hop media. He's not. He's a young kid that will occasionally put on a record that's hot, but at the most part, he's playing a video game. Or he's doing something really, really dumb, really, really questionable, having guys come out the back door screaming and shocking and scaring people or doing something ridiculous, right? Stuff that most grown people are not going to watch. Kai Cenat is barely 20 years old. You know what I mean? So older people like me and maybe you or maybe not, we're not watching that. So this is the world that Akademiks is allowed to thrive in. Let me keep this moving. By 2015, he uploaded his first video to his self-titled YouTube channel, stating that the channel had been suspended and that he was moving to a new channel. DJ Akademiks in 2015 also created a channel called DJ Akademiks TV2, The Negotiator. Yep, I remember all these channels. This was when we didn't know what to expect from Akademiks, and he was just a regular person. He wasn't his asshole. We didn't even know what he was, so we was following him, trying to figure out what was going on, because the content was interesting. I'm just going to be honest. Good, bad, or indifferent. It wasn't just all about the Warren Chirac. It was a bunch of stuff. Like I said, he was commenting on up-and-coming artists and this and that and the third. So he kind of was pushing the needle, but at the same time, he would only choose the almost worst artists. Just gonna be honest. He would only choose people that wasn't really, I'm just gonna say they wasn't that good of talented. They wasn't that talented. They were pushing a lot of narratives of violence and gun talk and real ops, not like pretend violence. I'm talking about real people. They're talking about that live 2 blocks down the street. These are the people that Akademiks was pushing. Let me keep this moving. Aside from posting and growing his YouTube channel and Instagram account, from 2017 to 2020, DJ Akademiks hosted Everyday Struggle, a daily morning show for Complex with Joe Budden, eventually replaced by Star and finally Wayno and Nadeska Alexis. Shout out to Nadeska and shout out to Wayno. On the BET Awards pre-show in 2017, Akademiks and co-host interviewed Atlanta rap group Migos, where tensions arose between him and his co-host Joe Budden, and later Migos take off. This is when Akademiks learned. Akademiks was scared as shit of Migos. I'm just going to be honest. But when he had that conflict with me and Joe, I ain't get left off bad and bougie, his rocket, the ship took off because you couldn't tell who Akademiks was, what he looked like before that incident with Bad and Bougie, Migos, Joe Budden walking off the set, them walking behind him like, what's good, They didn't go after Akademiks, but Akademiks went viral for that moment when Bad and Bougie and all this and and they was like about to fight Joe Budden. Akademiks, a lot of his clips and became memes, and at that point he became in real life, right? He became a real person, and they put a face to the name. And that's when that point is where we start getting this whole thing where he was shook, but he survived it. When Nipsey came to Everyday Struggle and was mad, he was shook, but he survived it. When Vince, what's his name? Vic Mensa, I'm sorry I said his name wrong. Vic Mensa came, he was shook, but he was surviving. So it became Ak is shook all the time, but he keeps surviving and he keep talking junk. He had the back and forth with Meek Mill, he survived it. So he started realizing, yo, I can talk my shit and nothing happens to me. Nothing happens to me. They caught Safari, damn, they tried to beat his ass to death. They never caught me. I never got beat up. And when I do get confronted, I can just cop a plea like he did with Casanova. What Akademiks has learned is these rappers ain't necessarily as tough as they act. And it ain't as scary as they seem. So I'm like making more than a lot of these rappers. He started to learn the business. I make more than Meek Mill. I make more than this guy and that guy. He started feeling like, yo, y'all really ain't got nothing on me, to be honest. I can get the same house as you kidding. Because after the Everyday Struggle and he blew up with the Bad and Bougie, this and that, he became really a part of this whole situation that we call the culture, reluctantly, right? In my opinion, because I don't think Akademiks really cares about the culture. I think he cares about money. I think he cares about being famous from streaming, infamous, let's say. I don't think he cares that you think that his opinion is good, bad, or indifferent, as long as you tuned into the stream. So I don't think he has a passion for this rap stuff. That's why he says the things he says and does the things he does. So it's not a person looking for acceptance in the culture. He doesn't care about that. That's why he can talk crazy like this and just float around and do what he does, right? I want to talk about the controversies because Akademiks, where we get now is when you're a streamer and you feel like you got your chest puffed out and now you're the man, you could do stuff like this. In July 2020, Akademiks was suspended from Complex for insulting model Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, while live streaming on Twitch. He's a streamer. Akademiks later apologized, stating, "I think I definitely went over the line when I was disrespecting women," in November 2020. He only apologized because he was working for Complex. Akademiks doesn't apologize anymore because he doesn't have a corporation that he needs to appease. He ended up walking away from Everyday Struggle anyway, right? Sexual assault lawsuit, May 14, 2024. It was filed by Fuzia Abashi in Superior Court against Akademiks, accusing him of rape, sexual assault, and defamation stemming from a July 22 incident at Akademiks' home. That's the ex that allegedly came over and allegedly was outside at the pool house when Akademiks was inside drunk, sleeping or what have you, and his two friends that he claims he thought was about to get it in with her, which is slimy in and of itself. He didn't know what was going on out there, but he was going to let it happen anyway. So he invites the girl over, and she ends up in the pool, out at by the pool with these two dudes, and they trying to get it off, and she claims she got drugged and she got assaulted, right? And she called the cops and everything, He claims nothing. He claims it was different, whatever. But that's a lawsuit. Akademiks wants that lawsuit to not be in the zeitgeist no more. So all of this other stuff is smoke and mirrors, right? Then he got the inappropriate comments made to a teenage streamer January 2025 in a Discord. During a Twitch stream, Akademiks the streamer, he made explicit and sexual remarks in relation to a 15-year-old streamer which received a high level of criticism. Here we go. It says, in the 30-second video, Akademiks made a series of sexually explicit comments and at one point asked, yo, if Max said he wanted to F a dude, would you let him F you? All right, one of these guys said in the thing, I watched it, it's disgusting. Already got a video on it. Despite Norgard clearly stating that he was not gay and was uncomfortable with the conversation, Akademiks continued to push the subject further unsettling the team. They didn't know They didn't know that this was going to get out. This was in a little room inside of another room. They thought they were good. They were talking to this kid and they were sexually harassing this kid. In my opinion, I saw it. It was absolutely disgusting. I don't know how these guys still get to be on these streams and but they are, because you know why? Akademiks took a few days off, then came back screaming and yelling about Drake and this and that and Kanye and and he distracted you from what was obviously a grown man being extremely disgusting to a 14, 15-year-old kid, right? And this is why I say Akademiks is scared, because if he ever stops the noise and people ever start to really just look at who Akademiks is, they're going to see a frail, scared dude screaming and yelling at women for the most part and trying to bring up men's. When he does confront a man, which is rare, but when he does confront a man, he's going to try to bring up your lowest moment and try to get that to get more numbers on his streams, because it's all about streaming. It ain't got shit to do with this culture. Akademiks don't care about rap culture in and of itself. He wants to mix. He wants to steal from it. I'm just going to be honest, because he never ever has anything good to say about the culture. When you're talking about the culture, if it's something that doesn't make a lot of money right now today, it's dusty, it's broke, it needs a lineup. Right? It's this and that and the third. It's only about the people making money right now. And when they're not making money, guess what? He's calling you broke. So he don't care about this culture. He has no affinity for it. It's weird shit. That's why I say Akademiks is scared. He's not necessarily scared of what Mace going to do, Cameron going to do, right? He's not really scared of what Lauren LaRosa is going to do. That shit is nothing but stream. That's content. He's erased his embarrassment. You can't embarrass this guy. He's just like Kanye. These red pill doofballs that don't care about nothing but the next stream. They don't care about nothing. He's erased his moral compass. That means nothing. You can't. When Lauren LaRosa came and made a stream of how many times Akademiks lied, you know he don't care nothing about none of that shit, because he's going to lie again tomorrow. He doesn't care. It fits the narrative. He only supports the people that are just as bad as him, right? Drake and Kanye and these awful ass people. That's what he's here for. He loves these fresh and fit guys, right? He's during the election, he's putting up pro-Trump stuff. Just all awful people. Just it is what it is. He lines up with everything that the culture is against. Everything. Tekashi 6ix9ine in his heyday. It's just, and he's like, I'm gonna get with Tekashi 6ix9ine again. That's my friend. Okay, sure, right? At the end of the day, what we're looking at is this guy is scared to lose this thing. When that thing happened with that kid, he went off on all the streamers talking about, F you, I don't care, That was him realizing that them streamers don't need him no more. He went off on Blackboy Max and all these other guys, and he was not going to do no favors for them, this and that. These guys don't need him at all. They don't need Akademiks. They're bigger than him at this point, and he knows it. So when you don't have something to lash out about and get these views up, the lack of talent starts to show. The skill set that he does not possess starts to show, and the views start to decline. So he got to come back with something more spectacular, more obnoxious. And what's more obnoxious than calling a black girl all kind of names out her face, talking about you're going to super violate her? Guess what happens? Now the zeitgeist is pointing right back at him. You're right back on his page trying to see what he said, and now he's back in the mix. He ain't doing it for the love of this game. He don't care about this game. He cares about the next dollar, whatever contract he can sign. You never see him. He would never have a real hip hopper on that show and talk about music and talk about history. No. Because that ain't going to bring no money. And all he cares about is money. So Akademiks is scared. And he knows going against Cameron and Mace, they're hot right now. They're hot right now. He don't care what they're going to say because he's right now digging for his retort. He's not even going to trip off anything they're saying because he's already figuring out what he can say back and forth with them for a week. This is what he does now, gang. So that's what Akademiks is scared of losing all this stuff that he has. He can't come out and make no record and blow up. He can't come out and make no movie. He can't come out and write no book. He don't have the talent or the skill set for none of that. All it is a lot of shit talking and getting on people's nerves and jumping in people's comments and talking junk and interviewing trash people. And that's about it. That's all. He ain't got to do much else. And on that note, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I said enough. I talked about everything. I don't think there's nothing else to unturn with this. Akademiks is scary as fuck. You're not going to see him nowhere. You talk about he was going to go to Kendrick. Why would you go to Kendrick's show when you did nothing but talk shit about Kendrick? And you call everybody in there bums and broke. Kendrick crowd is old heads that ain't got no money. They scared to buy merch. This is all stuff he's saying. Right? But then you're going to go. I spent tens of thousands to go to Kendrick's show in Jersey, and I ended up not going. What we talking about, gang? Make it make sense. I'm going to get out of here, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Head on over to black-yeti.com. See what they got going on. They ship everywhere in the country, all right? I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.